Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lords of the Night. With me, as always, is the Lord of Pain, Ranting Monkey,
Hey, guys.
and the Lord of Pennies, Satsu 2 Cents.
What up, Doubt?
And the Lord of Dick Grayson joins us tonight, Weebo Jones.
Hello.
And I'm your host, Scribe, the Lord of Punishment. The Lords of the Night is filmed before a live studio audience.
It's filmed before a live ostrich.
Yes.
Studio ostrich.
Hello, chat. Hello, everyone. Hope you've been having a good day, a good week so far. I am currently baking in the heat of summer and other factors, but
I thought you were going to say you were like making cookies or something.
Because I said baked.
Yeah, you were
said
baking. You said.
Oh, I was thinking something completely different.
Yeah, because Weebo's a drug fiend. But that aside,
yeah, that's it.
how is everyone else today? How are you, Satsu?
I'm good. Prepping for tomorrow. Should be interesting.
That's one way of putting your wedding day, I guess. Kind of a diplomatic way of putting it.
I don't like. We don't have any control over what happens when we get there, so it's like
you say I do or you don't. You have the most control. I mean. I'm not really. I've never gotten married before, so.
Well, did you guys settle on a date then?
What do you mean?
Well, you said it was either going to be Thursday or Friday.
Oh no! It's definitely going to be tomorrow. But like, what we're going to do afterwards is we were going to do something afterwards, but we decided to do that on Friday.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Scribe, what I meant was like weddings are planned. They're planned meticulously, and every single detail is planned by the couple, and they know exactly what's going to be there, what the venue looks like, who's going to be marrying them, and all that. Like we don't.
Well, one would hope so in the latter part. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I've never even seen the place we're going to.
Thank you, point curation. I hear a lighter. Scribe is definitely blazing. No, that's Monkey. Monkey's the smoker.
Me, and I'm not blazing this.
Speaking of which, how are you, Monkey?
I'm wonderful. Can't you tell by my voice?
Every night, I can tell.
Yeah.
I hear you had a grand monkey today, or still do.
Still do, yeah. She's staying the night tonight. She may pop in later. Okay. We'll see.
And how are you, Weebo?
My doggy is sick.
Well, thanks for bringing the room down.
Oh, what happened to the doggy?
Yeah,
it has well, it's the front and the back end that has been having trouble all day and yesterday. Ew. So we have her on special food, and we've been washing her. I had to give her like 3 baths today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How old is Doggy?
Doggy is 2 years old.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's like a stomach bug, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Doggy pulls through quickly. That's no fun.
Yeah. She gets really cuddly when she doesn't feel good, though.
And on the off chance there's anybody in the audience, and it's possible, that doesn't know who you are or what you do, who are you, Weebo?
I am the 56-foot schlonged trap queen with I think hang on, depending on what the most recent description of me is, I am an autistic ginger midget also.
An autistic ginger midget. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, with all that as preamble, Monkey Dick, Jim Jones, movies, video games. Hit that like button if you have not already, and many, many, many of you have not, so you're hurting my feelings by the second. And share our stuff. Please, please, please share our stuff. YouTube doesn't tell anybody anything about anything that any of us post anymore. Even these streams are kind of difficult to apparently get the word out on, so every little bit helps, guys.
Yeah, and guys, make sure you liking it while we're live is the second most helpful thing you can do besides sharing.
Yeah. Let's see. So Satsu, as a programming note, is it still the plan that you are going to attempt to stream live from your wedding tomorrow night?
I'm going to try to.
Okay.
I'm gonna definitely try to. If it doesn't work out, or even if it does, and we still manage to be able to do something. I'll try to do a stream afterwards once me and Squishy gets home.
Okay. Well, guys, if you have not already, please follow us on Twitter to keep up to date as to the shifting events of tomorrow. If we end up on Monkey's channel as a backup or something else happens, or we're over on Satsu's channel for the wedding, keep an eye on that, and we'll let you know as soon as we know. Anything else to plug and or cover before we get into the schnuzz?
Hey guys, go check out Side Quest.
Oh yes, tell everyone what Side Quest is for those that aren't indoctrinated.
It's basically, I guess you could say it's like a role-playing stream where we're all characters from Magog's little world, and that little world is settled in like a medieval times type thing. So Magog obviously is a wizard. There's the Beardbarian, who's a Viking dude. There's a Stuttering Soliloquy, who's a fairy, and then me, who I don't have a name, but I steal everyone else's name, and I'm a thief or rogue, depending on what what kind of games you're into. And we just sit there and we insult each other.
You have a visitor. Is it a thief that's stolen our hearts?
It is indeed.
Oh.
Hey, little one. Can you say hi to everyone? Can you say hi to Scribe?
Hi.
Can you say hi to Weebo?
Hi.
And hi to Satsu?
Hi.
Triple
Say
hi.
hi, chat. Say, Grandpa has another fundraiser.
Oh God, she ain't about to say that.
Can you say that? Do you want to listen? Okay, here. You take my headphones. Grandpa won't be able to tell what they're saying, so can you hear him?
Hi,
Are they
hi,
talking?
Grand Monkey. It's Scribe.
Hey, what's up? You got the hiccups.
Oh, I had the hiccups earlier today.
Uh-oh.
That was
Tell
Grand
them what you're
Monkey.
holding right now. What is that? Is that your new bear? What's your new bear dressed up like? What's he dressed up like?
I don't know.
Dressed like a monkey. You look like you're listening intently.
I want that.
What do you want? You want this? Okay.
She wants
Can you say
that.
monkey?
Monkey.
I love how you say monkey.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
You say
My
don't.
heart hurt.
Monkey.
My heart.
Monkey.
I'm gonna cry. You're so
Monkey.
cute.
Say donate to Grandpa.
Don't do it. Don't say it.
Don't exploit
Donate to
your
Grandpa.
granddaughter, Monkey. Jeez.
Hey, as much as I spend on her, it's just a trade-off, is what that is.
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
Support Grandpa so that he can buy
Love
you
you,
more stuff.
baby.
All right.
Where are you going? Oh, you getting your new purse? You left it in my room earlier, yep. Sorry, guys. What'd we do?
Okay. Well, shall we move on to the snooze until Grand Monkey graces us with her presence once again?
Indeed. She's
right.
right over there.
So, in reference to the title of the stream, which was best I could come up with, all things considered, we have an update on the story from last night regarding the New Mexico compound where they found those emaciated kids and at least the remains of one
What?
child. Well, Weebo, if you haven't been paying attention the last couple of days, the story here will not only tell you what's going on, but also update you on what they were doing out there. New Mexico compound suspects were training children for school shootings.
Wow.
What
so
the
these are little
shit?
white kids?
The 5 suspects accused of abusing 11 children at a New Mexico compound were training them to commit school shootings, prosecutors said Wednesday. If the defendants were to, quote, be released from custody, there is a substantial likelihood defendants may commit new crimes due to their planning and preparation for future school shootings, according to the court filings. The complaints did not provide further details about the alleged training. Allegations against the suspects came in the wake of the discovery that 11 starving children had been living in a filthy compound in Amalia, New Mexico that lacked electricity or plumbing. Authorities raided the compound on Friday as part of their search for Abdul Ghani Wahaj, a child with severe medical problems who was allegedly abducted from Georgia by his father, Siraj Wahaj, about 9 months ago. A boy's remains were found at the compound on Monday, police said, although it is not yet clear whether the remains are those of 4-year-old Abdul Ghani. 5 adults, including Siraj Wahaj, another man, and 3 women who are thought to be the children's mothers, each face 11 charges of child abuse related to the neglect and abuse of the children. None of the defendants has been formally charged. All 5 defendants appeared in court Wednesday afternoon in Taos, New Mexico. So that's the latest and greatest, so to speak, on that story, which is just more bizarre and horrifying as the days go on.
I stab a bitch who hurts a kid.
Yeah.
What you doing, girl? Okay.
Something important, I'm sure.
She just left something in here. That's all.
Okay. So yeah. If anything else comes up regarding that, I'll, make sure I collect it in the days to come. But
they're training school shooters. That's an interesting new school.
That is an interesting tactic to have a training camp. I mean, I suppose they were going to take these kids after they were trained and then somehow insinuate them into particular schools to act as just sort of like sleeper agents until they pulled out their guns or something.
All you got to do is move to a new neighborhood.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Moving on. Another update to a story we've been talking about the last couple of days. Venezuela. So this comes from the BBC, and I am curious about the way that they formatted their headline. Venezuela cracks down on opposition in wake of quote-unquote attack. If you can imagine it, the administration of Venezuela is taking advantage of this attack, this assassination attempt, to arrest and otherwise prosecute their political opposition.
I got to say, as soon as I heard about the attack and how the drone bombings completely missed him and everyone else, I was reminded of Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, that was convenient.
Uh-oh. Whoa.
Are you okay?
Is she Joey Lawrence all of a sudden?
Oh, jeez.
Whoa.
Love you.
A Venezuelan opposition lawmaker has been arrested and a warrant issued for another living in exile amid a crackdown after an alleged drone attack against President Nicolas Maduro. The government has blamed Juan Requesens, I don't know who that is, and Julio Borges for what it calls a bid to kill the president. Does Grand Monkey have breaking news?
No,
Yes.
She just keeps running and yelling hello and then running out.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
That's a kind of breaking news. Breaking news, Grand Monkey's here. The moves come as a powerful government official revealed plans to strip the pair of their immunity, but some government critics denounced the alleged attack as a farce. Imagine that. So both Mr. Requesens, I know I'm fucking up that name, I apologize, and Mr. Borges are members of the opposition-controlled National Assembly and of the Primero Justica, the Justice First Party. Mr. Borges, 48, founded the party and led the National Assembly before going into exile. Mr. Requesens, 29, is one of President Maduro's most outspoken critics and has taken part in many anti-government demonstrations. Yeah, wow. So can we call it maybe a false flag for the sake of making up excuses?
Well, that's what it looks like. And he was horribly unpopular before this.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you're silly. But yeah, suddenly he's attacked, and luckily he survived, and now he gets to take out the opposition legally.
What is Grand Monkey doing that's silly? You must tell us now.
She's running in top speed. Hello.
Hello.
And then running out top speed. They said hello.
Hello.
Well, yeah. So how? God. Oh, sorry. Let me scroll down a bit to where the BBC asked, "Why would the attack be staged?" Oh, I don't know, BBC.
Because he's horribly unpopular. The inflation in that country is ridiculous. What was it? Yesterday we learned like a gallon of gas would set you up for fucking life.
No. $1 would buy you 925,000 gallons of gas.
Yeah. So you go over there, buy $1 worth of gas, bring it back here, and you are set.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetie.
Hello.
Why don't we just buy Venezuela at this point?
Yeah,
I'm sure we could afford it.
Yeah, but we could buy
it for some beads.
Yeah, and some blankets.
Too soon?
Maybe. These days, yes. Yeah. So anyway, at whatever point there's going to be a coup on the guy, it's coming sooner rather than later, I imagine. Thank you, Three-Sided Coin. Should have used the kids from the previous story as assassins. Oh, Jesus. Oh,
Wow.
damn.
Real quick, Three-Sided Coin was the one who was doing the 3D. Hi, Crocodile. Doing the 3D printing of the guns, and he sent me the results today, and by and large, yes, 3D guns are fucking worthless. So
yeah,
just throwing that out there. Hello, Crocodile.
Good God, what is she doing?
Is she like running into the wall?
No, she has beads, and she keeps throwing them at my desk.
Oh, she's trying to buy Venezuela?
Yes, apparently.
Okay. Angela Arriaga says, when Grand Monkey is around, you can audibly hear Scribe's biological clock. Well, now, that's an interesting way of putting it. Anyway, what else happened today? Well, something happened today, and I have the perspective on this event from our favorite friend at CNN, Chris Cillizza.
Oh my gosh, he's my favorite.
I know. And, I actually looked at the job posting he put up for a writer for his blog. I was curious as to what the requirements were. I fit them all except for the part about having editorial experience, like actual official. Well, I know. Well, I think maybe they've realized their mistakes. And they're looking for someone. Well, you never know. But either way, there was something in there about having at least 2 or 3 years of editorial experience. And I'm assuming they mean something more official than sniping at people on the internet. So, but everything else, they just wanted somebody with a bachelor's degree in a relevant field, someone who could work under pressure and, has good communication skills and yada, yada, yada. And I was kind of like, I could do that, but no. It's still CNN. Anyway, so what happened today was Representative Chris Collins, I believe of New York, yes, he was indicted on insider trading charges.
Oh.
But the other thing too, and this I don't think it's in this story, but it's something that came out just a little bit ago. In the course of this, his being indicted, he is not going to stop running for re-election, apparently.
Well, sure. I mean, just because you're indicted doesn't mean you're charged or you're guilty.
Why Representative Chris Collins's shocking indictment isn't shocking at all. Analysis by Chris Cillizza. New York Representative Chris Collins surged into the national consciousness on Wednesday when he was indicted on charges of insider trading in relation to a company named Innate Immunotherapeutics Limited, a company in which he is the largest shareholder and, until relatively recently, served on its board. Collins denies the charges, but in the immediate aftermath of the indictment, he was removed from the House Energy and Commerce Committee by Speaker Paul Ryan. Let's see. The question is, what's next? Collins has insisted he will run again. Republicans are in a wait-and-see mode, and Democrats sense opportunity. Chris Cillizza, well, he says I, but just for the sake of clarity, I reached out to Nick Reisman, a reporter with Capital Tonight in Albany, to talk about Collins. Okay. Cillizza asks, how expected or unexpected is this indictment? Reisman says this was not out of the blue at all. Questions surrounding Chris Collins' business dealings with the Australian pharmaceutical firm Innate Immunotherapeutics have been the subject of a House ethics investigation that ultimately concluded there was substantial reason to believe he violated rules, standards of conduct, and potentially federal law. Okay. So this wasn't a surprise to anybody on the inside. Let's see. Cillizza says, Collins is known in D.C. for being a Trump guy. What's his reputation in the district? He's known for being a Trump guy.
All right.
That was the answer. He's known for being a Trump guy. The district is Trump country in New York. The president won the district with nearly 60% of the vote, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this goes on for a while, but the basic facts of the situation are already there. He was under investigation previously. He's been indicted criminally. He's not stepping down from running again. And I'm more curious as to in what fashion they're going to tie this back to Trump, aside from the fact that he was a supporter of the guy. But I don't know. We could speculate, but we'd be doing CNN's job for them. Let's see. Oh, God. Okay, I can't read that on the air, but Shiogorath, Jesus Christ.
Ooh, wait, what? Hang on.
I will pause for horrible joke identification. And anybody watching at home, if you choose to do so, can now look at the chat record.
Oh boy!
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You better hope the FBI doesn't watch Lords of the Night.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
They're gonna be now.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so that happened. That was big news for like part of the day. There's been a whole bunch of like spiked news stories today. The compound thing, Collins, Venezuela was there for a little bit, and then there was this, which I find really interesting. Changes are coming to the Oscars. You guys hear about this?
I did, but I didn't actually see the story.
In a letter to its members sent this morning, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences listed 3 changes approved by its Board of Governors. Number 1, a 3-hour Oscars telecast. We are committed to producing an entertaining show in 3 hours, delivering a more accessible Oscars for our viewers worldwide. To honor all 24 award categories, we will present select categories live in the Dolby Theater during commercial breaks. Live in the Dolby Theater during commercial breaks. The winning moments will then be edited and aired later in the broadcast.
Okay.
That's convoluted. I can't imagine that going horribly wrong live that night, but anyway. Number 2, a new award category. And this is the one that's got everybody's attention because they say so little about it. We will create a new category for outstanding achievement in popular film. Eligibility requirements and other key details will be forthcoming. So popular. Okay, first I just want to say Black Panther's going to win this. Because if the box office of Black Panther does not make it the most popular film of this year, barring something else happening near the end of this year, I don't know what else does.
Was Jedi last year?
The most profitable?
Yeah.
It was. I think Black Panther beat Last Jedi in profit, or in overall ticket sales. I believe so. I could be mistaken. But if it is box office that is the metric, or at least one of the metrics, Marvel's going to be getting an Oscar every year for the next 20 years. I imagine.
To drag out bedtime, she's crawling across the ground, meowing.
Oh my God.
Come here, kitty.
God.
Come here. I need my hugs if you're going night-night.
I smelled it. Oh God.
I need my hugs and my kiss. Come here. Come here. Oh, good girl. That's my girl. Oh, I love you so much. Have kisses.
Aww.
You say I love you?
I did this one. And look.
I know you did. I love you.
Can I smell that?
Smell what? The candle?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Whoops.
Can I smell that? Knock
She
over.
picked out a candle for me.
Oh.
She knows I like candles, and her and Grandma picked one out for me when they went dress shopping today.
What scent is it?
It is Waikiki Beach Coconut.
Oh, fancy.
Sounds
Oh,
fruity.
I have a heart attack though.
All right. But yeah, I said on Twitter earlier today, I said, I can't wait to see Michael Bay get an Oscar for Transformers 11.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, like I said, the metrics they're going to use to decide what's the most popular film haven't been announced yet, but I'm not quite sure. Well, let's see. I suppose they could say we're going to take a mix of box office, social media visibility or something, and maybe just like do like a LexisNexis search to see how many times the name of the movie came up across the regular publications, maybe. I have no idea.
I mean,
yeah.
Short of letting people just vote on it themselves, I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, if they do like a People's Choice Award kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to happen where, like, well, I doubt they would ever let people make nominations just free of their own will. Because then you'd have, like, you know, you'd have Birth of a Nation getting the most popular result out of the year.
Right, yeah.
No, they'd probably put up a poll or something and say, of these films, you know, which one, whatever. And then, of course, you're going to have people trying to stuff the ballot box for one or the other kind of thing. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to do it. And the third item was an earlier air date for the 92nd Oscars. The date of the 92nd Oscars telecast will move to Sunday, February 9th, 2020, from the previously announced February 23rd. The date change will not affect awards eligibility dates or the voting process. The 91st Oscars telecast remains as announced on Sunday, February 24th, 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing interesting about that is that new category, and it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Yeah, because the shrinking viewership is their biggest thing. It's like nobody's watching us give each other slaps on the back anymore.
For shitty movies, nobody really watches.
Yeah, and for the...
As we congratulate ourselves on how much we love gay people and watching black people be abused on film. Oh, I'm sorry.
12 Years a Slave Monkey. Come on.
Well, it's amazing to me. I mean, it's like, okay, you can have films about this stuff without actually having to show horrific graphic violence. But man, they like to show that them Negroes getting beaten on. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that happened, and so now it's one big meme on the intertubes about how the popular vote is going to be determined, or the popular film. Because at this point, with something like that in there, it seems like it's turning more and more into the MTV Movie Awards than anything else.
Yeah.
But, which would be
Stargazer said that I should post my registry, but I don't have a ranch. So.
Oh, your wedding thing?
Yeah.
I can do that. I just got to find it again. Give me a second.
Oh, yeah. By the way, how's your internet doing, Satsu?
Oh, my God. You didn't see that? I put up a tweet of the speed test I did today.
Well, let's pretend I did, but that the audience didn't, which is why I'm asking you to tell us.
He's setting you up for a story there, Satsu.
Yeah, this is me segueing you in. So go ahead, tell us about your internet.
Well, I upgraded to gigabit internet.
Ooh.
And I did a speed test today, and it was like 720 download speed, or 720 megs, which is
nice.
Ridiculous.
Jesus. So
Yeah.
how's it going to affect your game streaming at all, or does it just sort of run up against whatever YouTube makes you do?
Well, I've done a few test streams, and they went way better than I expected them to.
Okay.
I went and increased the settings and increased the video output just to make sure that, you know, I'm really pushing my internet to the limit to see, like, you know, what it can handle. And I did Warframe and I played a little Final Fantasy 14, and both streams went perfectly fine. I was even recording at the same time and had no problem. So far, so good.
Cool. And when are you guys 7 Days to Dying or otherwise next?
Tonight.
Tonight.
Yeah, we have a stream after this.
We'll
Is
get a
it
good
the,
test tonight.
Is it the public server thing or is it the...
Yeah.
Tonight is the 7 Days to Die. Play with us if you want to, guys. Come play with a monkey.
Whoa. Would you like to touch my monkey?
Yeah, it's gonna be open server, first come, first serve as usual, but should be a good time.
Guys, I dropped the link to Satsu's wedding registry there in the chat. So if you're so inclined, go pick him out something pretty.
Is there anything left that hasn't already been up for you?
Well, you can do what I did and get him a gift card because
yeah.
I didn't know what to get. So you have a gift card from me and Lady Monkey.
Oh
yeah, that's an interesting question because like when I first sent the registry to my mom, she was like, "That's a really small registry," and I'm like, "What do you mean? I just put stuff I thought I would need on there." She was like, "Well, people are buying it, so you need to put more stuff on there." So, because she said people are calling me, telling me that you don't have enough stuff on your registry.
Well,
and I'm like,
your initial registry was sparse. You had
yeah.
like
Well,
eight,
I mean,
eight items on there.
because like I told her, I'm like, realistically speaking, like I don't expect people to just be like, he's getting married. You know, we're like obligated to buy him things. Like it was just like I was like, I don't know. I wasn't even going to make a registry until my mom was like, dude, you're getting married, man. But most of the stuff has been bought on there. I think there was like 15 or 16 items on there, and 10 and a lot of them have already showed up at my mom's house, and she is already like kind of overwhelmed. Like, dude, there's so many boxes at my house right now. So she personally says thank you, and she wanted me to make sure that I said that to you guys. And we're planning on doing some type of a stream where she opens the boxes and reads everybody's letters. Because she wanted to be a part of the thank you process or whatever.
Cool.
Oh, they said, damn, Satsu, why isn't there more items for Squishy? She wouldn't fucking give like everything. She wouldn't tell me anything because she doesn't want much. And it's very hard to like give her anything or get her anything. So like everything that I put on that list or whatever, she was like, anything that you get related to the kitchen is going to feed me. So technically that's for me. Just like, okay. And then everything else
what she wants tomorrow.
And then everything else she told me to put on for, because I need it for my channel. So I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, whatever. Yeah, that's why I don't even ask her like questions like, what do you want? For whatever, because her answer is always nothing.
You got 2 vacuums?
What's up?
I'm looking at the list and it says you received 2 vacuums.
Yeah, I was looking at that too. I'm like, who got 2 of them?
They must think you're really dirty.
Oof.
I guess.
Tough nubbins.
Maybe it's to help clean up after you kill your neighbors.
Yeah, we move out of the apartment. All the neighbors.
Is one of them a wetback?
Oh, what?
Why do this?
I don't know.
Thank you, Gregory Hurst. Watch The Third Man on your recommendation today, Scribe. Pretty good, but I prefer Touch of Evil. Good luck tomorrow, Satsu and Squish. Touch of Evil is really good if you got the redone version where the guys went back and recut the film to Orson Welles' notes, because there's several different versions of Touch of Evil. I have the remastered, the Criterion version, and it's really good. Third Man, I really like Third Man, but anyway.
The last thing I'm going to say, though, is Squishy. The one thing Squishy did pick that's on this list is the foot massage spa thing or whatever, because she's always asking me to rub her feet after work or whatever, and that is the one thing that nobody got. So I told her if nobody gets it through the registry, I'll just buy it for you.
Okay, I'm going to move on to MSS News. Guys, if you have news stories you'd like us to read on the air, please send them to us via Twitter using the hashtag MSSNews. Can't promise we'll get to them all, but that's because there's too much Satsu.
What?
I don't know.
It's got a ring.
So there's not really a story attached to this as much as Shady Grin has just sent us a tweet from the Israel news feed showing that there have been airstrikes in Gaza following rocket attacks.
Oh.
Now, the tweet is from today. I am assuming this is something that happened today. I don't, as far as I can tell, I don't see anything on CNN talking about it. I'll check BBC real quick. But yeah, there's some pretty impressive explosions going on, if that's what happened today. So yeah, I don't see anybody else reporting on this. I'm not sure if this is sort of archival stuff or something that just happened like in the last 5 minutes or something, but I guess we'll see if we hear anything else about it. What else? Let me get to... I didn't take the filter off. That's why. The stupid filter they make me have now. Okay, let's try this. No, I don't want the filter. Thank you, Twitter. It would be nice if it once I take it off, it just stays off until I tell it to put it back on.
Yeah,
every single time it just puts it back on.
Isn't that how settings are supposed to work?
You would think, but what do I know? Okay. This one comes from Shiogorath. Uh-oh, I'm taking a risk here. Berkeley police slammed for Antifa-related mugshot tweets after violent rally.
Oh, I remember that. They were pissed off that their faces and names were revealed.
Yeah. Was this from a couple days ago, or am I... Oh, yeah, it was from yesterday.
Yeah.
Several California professors slammed the Berkeley Police Department after it posted the mugshots of Antifa protesters arrested Sunday at a rally where windows were smashed, citizens were punched, and dozens of weapons were confiscated by cops. Berkeley cops said Sunday that 20 people were arrested demonstrating against a rally organized by so-called alt-right groups. The mugshots of the arrested, their names, and what they were arrested for allegedly doing was posted to the BPD's Twitter account, a practice that is not unusual. The mugshots were posted before the protesters were formally charged. The department told The Guardian on Monday that the protesters' cases were not brought before prosecutors. Okay, should they post stuff before charges are actually posted? I'm not comfortable with that notion.
It depends. I mean, like here, I know if you're arrested for DUI, it goes in the paper immediately before you're actually in front of a judge at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's a minor offense like that, it happens. So I don't see what the big deal is, just because,
yeah,
I just don't see a big deal about it.
All right.
And let's be honest, it's not like these guys were minding their own business and accidentally got picked up as Antifa members.
Well, no, I guess it would depend on what the charges were. Like if someone was arrested for something ridiculously serious, and then had their name put out there before any charges were actually filed, and they were eventually found to be not involved or something, that could almost immediately screw somebody over.
Yeah,
sure. But what these guys were mostly in violation from, if I understand this all correctly, it was bringing things that could be weapons to this rally.
Mm-hmm.
Signs, billy clubs, which they love to use for some fucking reason. Oh, yeah, because they're pussies and can't fight without weapons.
Three-sided coin, thank you. Yes, the reason we do it is because we do not want secret arrests going on.
That's fair, too.
I guess, again, I guess it would depend, like if somebody was arrested for rape, you put their name and everything out there, and then they were like found not to be the guy, or it was a false charge or something like that. That's just, I mean, that's an extreme example, but that's just like one of the things that came to my mind. Like, something like that could unduly damage someone's reputation if it turned out to be without merit.
I'm assuming, with that being said, though, it's probably just the nature of the crime.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. This one comes from Massive Dynamics and is weird as fuck. Man facing jail for downloading snake porn.
What?
What the fuck is snake porn? Never mind. No, I don't want to know. Go ahead and read it, but I don't want to.
A man has been warned that he could face jail for downloading porn involving people performing sex acts with animals. Okay, well, it wasn't just snakes then, was it? Brian Mills's computer was found. Brian Mills. Wasn't that the name of the character in Taken? That Liam Neeson played? I thought so. Okay, anyway. Brian Mills's computer was found to have pictures of dogs, horse, pigs, and snakes engaging in an act of intercourse with humans.
How does that work?
Detectives found more than 70 images on the computer at his home in Sunderland, but he denied being into that kind of porn or even watching them.
They found it on your computer, but you didn't want. Come on.
Unless somebody planted it there, I guess. The 46-year-old's lawyer said he downloaded them, but he was just not able to get rid of them. I never had sex with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
I downloaded that, but I didn't watch it.
I did not inhale.
Is he suggesting that it was accidentally downloaded as part of something else?
70 images. It seems a little bit.
I'm with you. This guy beats off to animal porn. Is that actually illegal?
Well, here's the thing. Laws around bestiality were tightened in 2008, and the starting point for sentencing is 1 year in prison. So does owning images of it, I guess owning images of it could potentially apply as a crime. So just like with, child porn, you're promoting it kind of thing.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. How would a snake
the Hate Camel says this Brian Mills also has a special set of skills, but you really don't want to ask him about them.
Gregory has a super chat.
Yes, thank you, Gregory. I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes. Literally, yes.
Weebo, when you're thinking of the whole snake thing, think female, not male. Or you can think male too, but
yeah. Let's just not think about it at all, shall we?
I don't want to think about it, Mikey.
Think about it and a run around. That's all.
Okay. Make it go away.
All right. Well, how about something that's completely unrelated? This one comes from Captain Brambles. Excuse me. Mysterious radio signal found in space, and astronomers aren't sure where it's coming from.
Aliens.
The mysterious fast radio burst, or FRB, that hit Earth late last month has been detected. While this type of activity is by no means common, it is not unusual. The part that's puzzling scientists is not the radio burst itself, but the fact that its frequency is nearly 200 megahertz lower than any other radio burst ever detected. The signal was spotted by a telescope in Canada and posted to the Astronomer's Telegram on July 25th and has been dubbed FRB 180725A after the year, month, and day it was discovered. The discoverer, Patrick Boyle of McGill University, acknowledged that it was not immediately, and then the article cuts off. So there you go.
It was not immediately, y'all.
It was not immediately a threat to life as we know it.
Okay.
That's my guess. It was not immediately identified as Independence Day. So.
That person was killed by aliens, right at the end there.
Yeah, there you go. The guy writing the story.
Diddly.
How about one from senior staff reporter Jack the motherfucking Cockring?
Yeah.
That works.
I haven't used that title in a little while. Florida man shoots Facebook friend in buttocks after political argument. Sounds legit. We've all seen or perhaps taken part in political arguments on Facebook. They're usually just endless exchanges of catchy one-liners or memes, hoping others will click like to show they agree. Maybe one person slips up and makes a typo, making their intelligence fair game to insult. However pointless those exchanges are, they usually stay in a comment section. But one Facebook argument left the World Wide Web Tuesday and turned into gun violence in Tampa. Police told WTVT that 44-year-old Brian Sebring showed up to his Facebook friend's house and shot him twice because of a political argument the two had online.
I thought I had shitty friends.
Yeah, the victim, identified as 46-year-old Alex Stevens, was wounded in the buttocks and thigh. The Florida Division of Elections identifies Sebring as a registered Democrat, but it is not known exactly what political topic caused such a fierce disagreement.
I bet it was AIDS.
I was gonna do a let's guess which side of the political spectrum they were on, but
it was Alex Jones. I bet it was Alex Jones. That's my guess. It was something about Alex Jones. No?
Nah.
It was Trump.
Maybe it was Trump and Manafort.
Yeah, it's something to do with Trump. That's what everything is these days.
The case.
What else do we have? Excuse me. I hope I don't lose my voice. That would suck. Okay, this one comes from Froggy. Over $600,000 has been raised on Kickstarter for a Ruth Bader Ginsburg action figure.
Why?
I don't know.
She's too old to have any kind of action as it is.
Forget about superheroes and capes. There's a new action figure for sale thanks to a wildly successful Kickstarter campaign, and it features none other than Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The company behind the RBG action figure is Fictree.
Yep.
Do they have her permission?
FCTRY. That's the name of the company. I'm assuming that they couldn't get factory.com, so they just took out a couple of letters.
Or maybe it's fucktrees.com.
There you go.
Yes.
Fucktree.
Fucketry.
Fucktree,
Oh,
a Brooklyn, New
you took it
York-based product design company. Fucktree created a Kickstarter campaign in June to garner backers for the creation of the RBG doll. In just a matter of months, it raised a whopping $613,705 from 15,654 backers. Now the RBG action figure is being brought to life. Oh my God, they're going to imbue it with consciousness and self-awareness?
Oh, shit.
She doesn't even have that.
No.
Wait, what?
Oh, somebody said Goat Thrapple is tailed here? Or is somebody just saying Goat Thrapple because they like Goat Thrapple? And you know, people should just like Goat Thrapple, I think.
What's a goat thrapple?
What?
I am a small child who is very ignorant of the world. Someone help.
So, the origin story of Goat Thrapple. So, several months ago, I was listening in on a stream that Tailed Feature was giving.
Ooh.
And he and a friend of his were talking about Scotland. And I just happened to pop in as Tailed was saying something to the effect of, what are the most Scottish town names we can find? He was doing that kind of game. And one of the first ones he said was Gawkthrapple.
Oh.
It's all one word. And I swear to God, when he said that, I heard him say Goat Thrapple. And so it just became this wonderful set of words. And it's actually spelled, I believe it's spelled Gawkthrapple, all one word, Gawkthrapple. I think that's what it is. Or it's Gowk. There might not be an A in there. Either way. And I found a sign in the town that says Gawkthrapple on it. And I did a little Photoshop to make it say Goat Thrapple. And now it's kind of a thing. So Tailed says fucking moo, and I say Goat Thrapple. And that's kind of our thing. And I'm pushing Starbucks to come out with the Goat Thrappuccino, because I think that's a thing that needs to happen.
That is the most homosexual thing I've ever heard.
That is the most homosexual thing you've ever heard.
Well, you need to think about them snakes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, okay, anyway. Let's see. I'm wondering if the money that people pay for this is going to go to like a charity or something.
Why a Ruth Gator?
Well, they've made several different ones. They made a Ruth Bader Ginsburg one. They made a Hillary. They made a Barack Obama. They made a Bernie Sanders, and they made an Elizabeth Warren.
Does the action figure come asleep?
No, she's got an articulated arm that has a sort of pointing finger, and then in her other arm is held a gavel, and she just looks very formal, I guess.
Okay, does it look like her now or when she was younger?
It looks like her now. It's
so this is the
justice.
dead action figure.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I mean, if people are willing to pay for it, have at it. I don't care. Let's see. We'll do at least one more here before we move on to YouTube time. Okay. Interesting. Well, in honor of Jim Healis and his Blue Mamba comic having surpassed their minimum goal of $6,000, I'll read this one from Jack, the motherfucking cockring, that kind of touches on that, I think. Crowd-funded rebellion against identity politics in comics nets $1.25 million and counting. A year and a half ago, comic book fans and retailers started rumbling about problems in the industry driven by Marvel and DC Comics' insistence on pushing extreme left-wing politics in their comics. The big two companies in the comic industry made many fans feel they weren't wanted. Instead, they chased a new, diverse demographic fueled by identity politics. Their marketing tactic was based on replacing characters like Thor and Iron Man with female or minority counterparts and interjecting political commentary on the 2016 election into their stories. Last month, comic companies descended on San Diego Comic-Con to unveil their new products and tease storylines for the forthcoming year. Excuse me. It appears these industry giants haven't changed with their attitudes towards customers. The market, however, has turned its eye to new properties by independent creators. Marvel took a step last year toward a shift in their corporate culture. They fired their longtime editor-in-chief, Axel Alonso, who famously stated, quote, "Writing comics was a hobby for white guys," unquote, and went on to say pushing identity politics was good for business. C.B. Cebulski replaced him, who had a positive reputation in the business at the time. Fans were cautiously optimistic about the replacement, but the sentiment didn't last long. A year after Cebulski's tenure began, things look exactly the same at Marvel. The company still has largely the same creative staff, but has shuffled their teams on different titles. Marvel launched a new run of Captain America by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who wrote a rant in The Atlantic arguing the election of Donald Trump surfaced a long-standing culture of white supremacy in the country. His handling of the character came soon after Nick Spencer, right after Trump's inauguration in 2017, turned Captain America into an allegorical Nazi in order to attack right-wing America. Spencer wasn't fired for his offensive performance on the patriotic character, but rewarded with a higher-profile book, The Amazing Spider-Man. So when do we get to the part about the rebellion? Okay, independent crowdfunded comics changed the game. The big comic companies are no longer entertaining a mainstream youth demographic, but actively attempting to socially engineer Americans through propaganda-style storylines, dialogue, and characters. It's clear through their continued attitude towards fans that they don't care about sales or reader reaction. The audience is, accordingly, turning away in droves. According to BookScan, graphic novel sales fell by 12% in 2017, which followed 2 years of large gains. That large drop is a similar number to what we saw in the National Football League when players began kneeling for the national anthem and displaying politics on the field. Let's see. Okay, this goes on for quite a while, guys. It talks about how like an independent comic named Red Rooster has made more than $144,000 in fundraising, while another comic named Lone Star got $45,000 in fundraising, so on and so on. And Cyberfrog. Former DC artist Ethan Van Schreier launched Cyberfrog on Indiegogo. His comic has been the most successful with a record-breaking $538,000. And again, as a plug for our friend Jim Healis, his comic Blue Mamba has already reached its goal. Now they're pushing at their stretch goals on Indiegogo. So look up Blue Mamba on Indiegogo. I don't have the link here right now, but I will post it onto Twitter soon. Anyway, there's that. And guys, thank you so much for the stories. Appreciate it as always. You helped fill up the second half hour of the show pretty much. When it's not one of us just sort of blowing out hot air.
Yeah, thanks for doing our job for us.
Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier to do our job when you're doing it for us.
And now I'm going to give my my golden throat a rest for a moment and ask my fellow compatriots here, what are they up to on YouTube? Weebo, you're the guest. What have you been up to lately?
So, well, obviously the side quest stuff, but I recently had an idea for a video because I've been dealing with race issue video type things for the last couple of weeks. And I noticed this a while ago, but while I was doing my last video, which was the original Aboriginals were black, apparently, I noticed that, like, it was very obvious to me that no one, whenever they're like, oh, black versus white, describes like what the cutoff is for what constitutes as white, or, you know, capable to use the white label or black label or whatever. There's no definitive line there. So I thought I would exploit that for views at some point this week.
Okay.
And make fun of each side respectively for their shenanigans. Because I like doing that.
Okay.
I haven't figured out what to call it yet, though.
And when's the next side quest?
Every Monday from 7 to 9? Yes, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
On whose channel?
Magog of More Scars.
Okay. And guys, I put Weebo's channel link and Twitter in the description. So like I say, if you haven't already been following her and watching her stuff, you can find her there.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I have a question.
Yes.
The other day, somebody said they'd come from your stream where you were arguing with someone. What was that about?
I was arguing with someone. Oh, no. I was hosting a debate between Irving Twin and Liberal Sanity Project about Bill C-16. Unless, wait.
That's probably it.
Was
You were
that it?
hosting
Okay.
What was the nature of this debate?
Okay, so Irving is Canadian, and Lispy is poli-sci major who's an American. And Lispy thinks that Bill C-16 is not compelling one in their speech, whereas Irving believes that it is compelling one's speech. And that is the crux of their argument, although neither side really could argue fully their points as adequately as I would have liked them to. Because they got hung up on stuff, and then Lispy was a little bit salty because he's like, I hate it when people can't admit that they're right. And I'm just like, well, I mean, the same could be said about you, Lispy. But like, I was just moderating, so I was observing, and it was a shit show. I'll say that.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Satsu, I know what you're doing tomorrow, but what have you been doing lately?
Just going through my my backlogs of videos that I had pre-edited to upload for my second channel. I got a few things that I want to talk about after everything is said and done, the wedding is done, and everything calms down. So be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, like I said, I won't be doing anything until after, because I'm not trying to get that kind of stress. Like, not right now.
Okay, Monkey.
Guys, I still have not had a chance to work on stuff, but if you want to play games with me and Satsu, we'll be playing 7 Days to Die after this, and there are 14 slots open for the public to join us.
The public.
What's that?
The public.
The public.
Yes.
You don't have to donate to us or anything. It's just open. The information is in our Discord servers, so come check us out. If you don't want to play, you can just come listen to us, and we have a lot of fun on those streams.
There's a bear in the chat. Hello, bear.
What's up, man?
Hi there.
Other than that, I've been having to tell Weebo to stop sending me dirty texts.
What?
Geez.
Oh, well, dirty DMs. She keeps DMing me, like
I sent you a dancing midget video. That was it.
Look,
It
I don't
wasn't
want to
even
tell
me.
them. I'm not telling them what you did. I'm telling them, she's a dirty girl, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
I didn't do anything. I'm a sweet, naive,
That's what
innocent
they all
little
say. That's what they
child
all
of
say.
the Lord. You can't prove anything.
Yeah.
Picture it didn't happen, ho.
Let's see.
Didn't happen.
I finished a script draft today on a little video from Now This, or I guess this is a subsection of Now This called Now Her.
What?
I don't know. It focuses on a freelance writer who talks about a lot of things that are interesting and contradictory. And right in the middle of it, and I'm still not quite sure why they put it there, but I guess maybe to make a point about something about this woman, they put in a clip from some kind of TV show where two people are talking about trying to get a job. And because it's relevant to this clip, the girl on the one side of the table is black and the girl on the other side of the table is white. And the white girl says, I can't believe they wouldn't give me that job because I'm white. And the black girl says something to the effect of, don't you think complaining that you didn't get the job was a little white privilege-y?
What?
Yeah, I'm like, wait. So she didn't get the job because of her race, and you're telling her she shouldn't be upset because not getting the job is an example of what? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know what TV show this is from. I have no idea. I'm going to comment on it regardless because it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And it seems to be its own little thing in the middle of the rest of this video, which I don't think has anything to do with it. Like whoever edited this video decided to drop that in there as some kind of punctuation for the whole deal. I don't know. Anyway, so otherwise it's just a short little fun video. It's not one of those heavy, TEDx talks or some educational expert or anything. I decided to do something a little less complex since I knew my work week was going to be busy and I have family stuff to do this weekend. So anyway, I have the first draft done. I'll probably sleep on it, so to speak, and revise tomorrow, do the audio, and hopefully have it put together and out Friday because I'll be busy almost immediately come Saturday morning. So if not, if I don't get it done by then, I'll hope to have it up Sunday afternoon or evening when I get home. So there's that.
My brain over here is still trying to calculate what you just said about
No,
that.
I know. Well, I'm probably not quoting it exactly, but that's how the conversation went back and forth a little bit. She was complaining about not getting a job. The one girl said, "Isn't that a little white privilegey or something?" I believe that is the phrase she used, white privilegey.
But,
and then she complains again about not getting the job because she's white. And then the other girl says something to the effect of, "Well, welcome to what colored people have had to go through forever," or something. I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to say? Like, it's a justified thing that she didn't get the job because of her race?
well, obviously.
I guess at least that's the message I took away from the clip. And like I say, I will process that as we get to it in the video. Other than that, on to internet fucketry. Nothing. I know stuff happened today, but nothing's immediately coming to my mind. I have to look at my Twitter and kind of review the day. So if you guys have anything, go ahead.
The one thing I just remember right off, and I don't have a tweet for it or anything, but LeBron James referred to black women as colored women today.
Uh-oh.
And there's some people out there losing their fucking minds over it.
Why
Yes,
would
they
he ever call them
should.
that? Because they've changed the language back to where that's the acceptable way to describe.
No. Remember, it's women of color, not colored women. That's why I always
I'm
make
never
that
gonna get
joke
that
every
right.
time I do it. It's like colored women. Whoops, I mean women of color.
No, just call them something else.
How about women?
Right, women.
Yeah, how
Yeah,
about
that
just,
works.
ladies? How about not defining them by what they?
That's speaking of that. There's so many things that happened in relation to the election yesterday, guys. One of the greatest ones was in the Ohio election. It was a very close race. The Green Party. You can't say, at least last I saw of the results, that they cost the Democrat the election, because even if you added theirs back in, the Democrat still doesn't beat the Republican. But Alyssa Milano tweeted out that she can't bring herself to believe that the Green Party's interference in that election wasn't actually the Russians.
Oh, I saw that.
Let me get the exact tweet, because this one is dumb enough that it needs to be in context. Let me bring that up.
Real quick, Irate Bear wants Scribe, may I please shill a Twitter poll for those here who are subbed to Irate Alex, please, sir? Like in chat, or are you begging for a link to the stream? I want to make sure I understand, because I don't want to make assumptions.
Only do that if you.
I can shill it for you if you want to put the information in the chat. Though you do know that chat is now part of the recording, essentially. So anything you put, okay, go ahead. I can't stop you from putting things in chat. I guess I could. I could just kick you off or something, but I'm not that kind of guy.
Okay, here's Alyssa's actual tweet. Okay.
It
says, what sucks? Because of our unwillingness to pass policy that protects our election integrity, I immediately think the Green Party votes tonight are Russian meddling. Why else would anyone cast a protest vote in Ohio when there's so much at stake?
You know why the Green Party is Russian meddling?
I don't.
Because the Russian Times logo is green. It's turning the frogs gay. Or something.
Yeah, there was just a lot of it. There's a black Republican won the race to challenge Debbie Stabenow for the Senate here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Somehow I don't see anybody telling us we should vote for him just because he's black, being a Republican and all. But we'll see.
Let me check.
What was the other one?
Yeah, there was something. I know I tweet out a whole bunch of things today.
Oh, I had something, kind of.
Go ahead.
So there's been this picture of I guess a school dress code going around, and there's a thing circled of what's not allowed, and then the U.S. flag is on one of them for you to wear. And I looked at this picture and I was like, well, they didn't really specify if you're not allowed to wear the American flag itself or if it's like an emblem of the American flag, because one of those is controversial, the other is not. Because if you don't know, the U.S. flag code actually states explicitly that you're not supposed to wear the U.S. flag itself as like an article of clothing, because that's seen as a disrespectful to the flag itself. So there are people out there who don't actually, know the full shenanigans, and I feel like they're jumping the gun.
Yeah, but be that as it may, even if that's what the flag code says, the Supreme Court ruled on this a long time ago with Larry Flint.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem if people want to wear the flag however they want to, as long as they're not. It's a flag. If you want to be disrespectful to it, you can be a douche.
But I'm saying it's like it's a school dress code, so it's a little bit less controversial, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
If they're talking about the flag itself as opposed to like a symbol of the flag itself.
I
think that's all I remember. I do have deep topic though. So if when we're done with fucketry, I have an article for us.
Okay. Well, is there any other fucketry we want to talk about?
I don't know of anything.
Okay. Well, Monkey, what have you got?
This comes to us from Vox.
Oh, God.
And more specifically, it comes to us from Ezra Klein.
Ezra Klein?
Ezra
you mean
Klein.
The guy at the top of Vox at this point? Like, I think he owns it or runs it, basically, doesn't he?
I don't know.
I don't remember his exact role, but yeah.
Okay.
Hi, SDA.
Hey, Sta.
Hey!
The problem with Twitter, as shown by the Sarah Zhang Farkas.
What?
Oh, Sarah Zhang Fracas, you mean?
Fracas. Oh, is it Fracas? I always said Farkas.
Farkas? Yeah, well, Farkas is the last name in some places, but Fracas, is like a kerfuffle.
That's an
scandal.
unfortunate name.
Excuse me. At National Review, Jonah Goldberg has a column on the Sarah Zhang Fracas that is wrong in, I think, a useful way. He begins with an anecdote. When I was a youngish teenager, I went to the bank one day. This was pre-ATM machine, kids. Before anybody says it, yes, ATM machines is redundant. I stood in line behind a very old, very properly dressed white lady, complete with the sort of fancy hat that I still don't know the proper name for. When she got to the teller, I didn't pay attention at first, but very quickly my ears perked up. She earned my attention because this prim old woman was passionately ranting racial epithets at the bank teller, who was an Asian American woman. I have no idea what the bank teller's specific ethnicity was, but the old lady seemed to roam the waterfront between nips, gooks, slants, etc. You goddamn gooks killed my husband and son, I distinctly remember her saying. That's the end of the quote that he's talking about from this other article.
Okay.
The moral, Goldberg says, is this. The old lady was wrong in what she did. She may have had plenty of rationalizations and explanations for why she tormented that young woman, but none of them added up to an excuse.
That's legit. Yeah.
Sure. I actually don't disagree with that sentiment.
That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. If we've talked about the whole John McCain thing, and there are times that if somebody was tortured by the Vietnamese and he wants to call his torturers a gook, I have no problem with that. But if you're yelling at a bank teller because you're
exactly.
family was killed in Southeast Asia. That's not cool.
Yeah, that was the example that was coming to my mind, the whole John McCain thing, where somebody else took offense to him referring to other people that, fucking captured him and tortured others and him. Like, yeah, you don't have an argument there. But in this case, the bank teller didn't do anything to her. That's
right.
Completely undeserved, and that lady should be put in her place, yeah.
Now, remember, this is what Ezra Klein thinks is wrong in a useful way.
Okay.
Yeah, that's important to remember. He thinks that example is wrong.
Wrong.
Much of the genre.
What do you wrong? Wrong in what sense? Or do we know that already?
In every sense.
We haven't got to it, but he'll get to it.
All right. Okay.
Much of the genre Führer has been about actually racist alt-right trolls weaponizing old tweets in bad faith to get an Asian woman fired from an important job.
What does Ezra Klein say about Roseanne? I want to know.
I don't know. I didn't read anything from.
Or literally the fucking we're in the double digits now with fucking people. Okay. Anyway. All right. Okay.
Sorry, my chat is popped off screen. Let me put it back up over here so I can still, in case anybody has. Okay. Whereas the New York Times refused to be cowed, and good for them. Also, do read my Vox Media colleagues at The Verge, who wrote a powerful statement condemning the cynicism of these tactics and defending Zhang's excellent work.
The tactics they created.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But Goldberg's piece traces another fault line in the Zhang debate, one that I see people of good faith struggling with even days after the initial frenzy, and that has implications far beyond this single controversy. As Zhang's tweets are equivalent of Goldberg's old woman yelling racial slurs at a bank teller, that is to say, are they an actual expression of animus towards real people, or are the critics making the argument engaged in an absurd form of literalism, refusing to recognize ironic discourse even though it has been repeatedly pointed out to them?
Ironic discourse.
You mean that thing that literally doesn't exist if anybody on the opposite side says anything even remotely close to that? Yes. That thing that can't be possible. They 100% have to be a racist no matter what. Like, yes. That's the only course of action. Okay, indeed. See, this is why I said I was staying away from this shit. Because I am getting more and more pissed off the more you read. Okay.
Oh, wait, it gets better. This is why I wanted to read it, is the part that's coming up. Okay, you guys prepare yourselves for this. Goldberg's got a story to tell, so now I'd like to tell one. A few years ago, it became popular on feminist Twitter to tweet about the awful effects of patriarchal culture and attach the line #KillAllMen. This became popular enough that a bunch of people I know and hang out with and even love began using it in casual conversation. And you know what? I didn't like it. It made me feel defensive. It still makes me feel defensive. I'm a man, and I recoil hearing people I care about say all men should be killed. But I also knew that wasn't what they were saying. They didn't want to put me to death. They didn't want to put any men to death. They didn't hate me, and they didn't hate men. #KillAllMen was another way of saying it would be nice if the world sucked less for women.
Can I read something real quick?
Sure.
This comes from Ezra Klein, posted to his Facebook page on May 29th. So what Roseanne tweeted today, that's not even close to the most racist or conspiratorial views she's blasted out into the world. And before you classify this as yet another left-right war, actually read the history of her tweets here. She swings wildly between left-wing and right-wing conspiracies and insults. Quote, I hope all the Jews leave UC Davis and then it gets nuked is not an opinion with a home in either political party. So you think Roseanne was serious there and should be held accountable for that, but Sarah Jiang and Kill All Men, that's just people being sort of metaphorical. Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure I understand you, Ezra.
Yep.
It was an expression of frustration with pervasive sexism. I didn't enjoy the way they said it, but that didn't mean I had to pretend I couldn't figure out what they meant. And if I had any questions, I could, ask and actually listen to the answer. Here's the other thing. Although it was happening inside my community, which both inclined me towards generosity and gave me more context for what was going on. If I'd been on the outside of it, perhaps my ultimate reaction would have been different. Perhaps I would have let my initial offense drive my interpretation. The same dynamics seems to me to be at play in the way white people is used in Zhang's jokes on social. Yeah. See, she doesn't really dislike white people. And I got to be honest, I think a lot of what she wrote was jokes.
Sure.
And I think there's a couple of them in there that show an underlining actual hatred towards white people.
But Ezra Klein is a fucking hypocrite, is what he is.
He is, but the we're going to skip just a little bit, and here's what he tells us. The real villain here, as it so often is Twitter.
Twitter is the villain.
Yes. We've had a lot of Twitter dust-ups in recent months, and most of them seem to hinge on the same problem. We don't know how to interpret what's written on Twitter, and that's been repeatedly weaponized by people who do know how to interpret what's on Twitter.
We don't know how to interpret. There are people who do know how to interpret, and so by reprinting these things, suddenly they interpret them for us.
Yeah, there's more to this article. I don't want to...
Well, kind of like Ezra Klein telling us that these were harmless jokes.
Yes.
Rather than what Roseanne said was an insult to an entire community of people and a threat. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Ezra Klein. You're one of those people telling us how we're supposed to think about things. Now, I will be the first one to admit that when it comes to telling or writing things without inflection in text can sometimes be hard to decipher, depending on the context. Unless you're a very good writer or there's some kind of context clues around what you're saying to get across what you mean. Sometimes well-done satire is just that difficult to figure out because, hey, pose or pose. But for Ezra Klein to decide one person is doing evil and another person is just joking around, yeah, well, Ezra, you're the one trying to tell people how to think.
Yeah, and the metric is, it's just, do I agree with that person?
Right.
Then it applies. If I don't agree with that person, then it doesn't.
Yeah, he even says, because they're my friends, I was more charitable to them.
Right.
So Ezra Klein is inherently biased. Good to know. Thank you, Cryptic. Zhang didn't get the dong, got mad, and started to bang her social media gong. Oh. Okay, remember, guys, Cryptic is Asian, and I'm just re-saying what he said, so it's not me. Anyway, moving on.
You are guilty.
I know. By association.
Yep.
Now, excuse me, in the case of Zhang and Gunn, and even to an extent, Michael Ian Black and who's that stupid female comedian?
Sarah Silverman?
Yes, thank you, Sarah Silverman. These are people going back and looking for things specifically to, I'm using air quotes because this is the stupidest fucking word I've heard in a long time, weaponize against them.
Yeah.
That's fair to point out that that's what they're doing, but that doesn't mean that the shit that they wrote was okay. I have no problem with any of it. I think it's all bad jokes. I really do. Like I said, with a few exceptions, some of Sarah on a few of those, Zhang seemed to start believing her own bullshit. Just a couple of them, where it's like, there's not a good way to make that sound like it's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, it was just people going through and looking for this. But he doesn't touch on why this has happened. He doesn't touch on the fact that this has been done to the politically other side over and over and over and over again, to the point where, yes, people have started mimicking their tactics. I mean, if you look at the Roseanne thing, Roseanne has come out and said she didn't even know what's her name was black.
Valerie Jarrett.
Yeah, Valerie Jarrett, which is legit. If you weren't told, she's not dark skinned. She actually looks Asian, in my opinion. Just throwing that out there. And I've seen people who believe Roseanne when she says that she didn't know she was black still go, oh, but it was racist. Well, no, it's not. If she didn't know she was black, then any monkey comparison isn't racist. And you can go through all kinds of political columns, political cartoons, and see white people repeatedly called monkeys. It happens all the time. But they still go, oh, it was horribly racist, even though she didn't know she was black. Like those two things don't add up. They just don't go together. And you want to talk about being charitable and how like the hashtag kill all men. Well, they didn't really mean that. Some of them do. There are some women out there who think no men are good. And if you don't believe that, you're not paying attention. But yeah, I read this and it's all Twitter's fault because some people can't read Twitter. I'm like, you're fucking stupid, Ezra. You are really fucking moronic. The example that Goldberg had given, the one about the lady at the bank, that is actually a perfect analogy given Zhang's excuse for what she was doing. Because people are mean to me, so I'm going to be mean to people. That's fine, but that's still a choice you're making, and you're still responsible for what you said. Again, I think they were jokes, but her excuse for it, her people were mean to me at the time. No, that part was utter bullshit, and for that, I think she should have to apologize.
But I don't know, man. It's so the thing, because she's assuming first off that every critic that has anything to say about anything that she has to say, they're automatically white. Like there's no way that it's somebody who isn't white. So regardless, like I'm sure there was feedback and you were getting, comments from all types of people, but there's no way that all of them were white. So there's no reason for you to use that metric at all. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with widespread criticism, unless your racism leads you to believe that the only people who could possibly disagree with you are people with white skin, which just feeds the narrative that you're a fucking racist and you're just trying to get away with it. But
well, you know who Mike Headley is, right? On Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine him responding to Sarah Zhang back then. Would it be okay for her then to go hashtag cancel black people?
Well, he had his account suspended, so it doesn't matter now.
I know he'll get it back. He gets suspended now and then. But the point is, like Satsu brought up, there's no way to know that all of them were white, and I guarantee you they weren't. Because there are black people out there who enjoy fucking with people too. But the only people she targeted was white people. And if she had targeted black people, I guarantee you she would not have been hired by the New York Times. It just wouldn't.
Oh, hell no. And she would not be being defended by the community either. Yeah, it is what it is.
It's all Twitter's fault.
Just like that, just in the same thing. The same
boy
thing.
Pat says right here. Yes, exactly, Pat.
Right. The same thing happened with that chick who got fired from the Guild Wars 2 thing or whatever. The only thing is she switched her narrative to fucking, she switched it to gender studies because the one dude had asked her, he made an inquiry and gave his feedback on a post that she put publicly on Twitter. And she instantly started talking about, this is what it's like being a woman in gaming. Some fucking asshat comes out of nowhere telling you how to do your job. And the company was like, you can't fucking talk to our
customers that way.
Fans like that. Like, you just can't do that. And she's like, oh, it's because I'm a woman, huh? And they're just like, no, bitch, it's because you're disrespectful.
The only person who made that whole thing about women was her.
Yeah, she was the only person. And she still is. To this day, she is still to this day claiming that. Now, and this is what killed me too. From the very beginning, she was like, this company has been inclusive. They push inclusivity. All of our leaders are women. Most of the stuff you see in the game has been controlled by women. They have been a pillar of the community. But all of a sudden now, this place is dangerous for women. You shouldn't work there if you're a woman. I feel sorry for any women still left in the company. Now, all of a sudden, because you got fired for being a fucking disgusting bitch, now this company's not good for women. Now, all of a sudden, all of the women who are still there and didn't get fired because they aren't dumb bitches like you, now it's dangerous for them and they should all leave. Like you
hashtag kill all men.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just
No,
like
it's amazing to me, that he can see hashtag kill all men as just a joke, a way to. It's really just saying women are oppressed, but he can't see the humor in. I guarantee he wouldn't see the humor in somebody saying bitches need to make me sandwiches.
right.
He'd be like, "Oh, that's sexist.
Sandwiches.
That's sexist." Hey, there's Tel. Fucking moo.
Fucking me.
But yeah, I read that article today and I'm like, this is fucking retarded. It's just stupid. And the lengths he goes to excuse behavior that he would not accept from people he doesn't ideologically agree with is mind-blowing.
Yeah. I had very briefly something a little bit similar, at least as far as an article that I spotted that immediately sort of made me think, that's amazing. This is something that was on Kotaku, and the title of the article was Inside the Culture of Sexism at Riot Games. Oh. And if I'm not mistaken, Riot Games are the guys behind League of Legends. I'm only going to read the first couple of sentences of the article because that's pretty much what told me, like, okay, I don't really care what happens in this thing. But effectively, it's a long sort of expose from a former employee at the company who was given a pseudonym for the sake of the article, who was reporting on what she witnessed in her 3 years at the company. And this is how the article begins. Throughout her 3 years at Riot Games, the company behind League of Legends, Lacey made it her mission to hire a woman into a leadership role. That's basically where my mind stopped. I was like, you're right. There is a sexism problem at Riot Games, and it's not there anymore because Lacey isn't trying to hire somebody on the basis of gender. She goes on to say, Lacey had heard plenty of excuses for why her female job candidates weren't Riot material. Some were ladder climbers, others had too much ego, most weren't gamer enough, a few were too punchy or didn't challenge convention, blah, blah. And I was like, maybe she's telling the truth. I don't know. She's an anonymous source, which, I'm not going to hold it against her for that. But at the same time, it's like without corroboration, it's kind of like, okay, but if you're admitting that it was your mission to hire a woman into a leadership position, full stop, I don't care. I mean, if that had been found, well, I mean, it's like, yeah, I do not understand how this is a metric that people are pushing for and seemingly is acceptable, given the laws that we supposedly operate under, given the civil rights movement that is so often invoked but never seems to actually apply to anybody's ideology these days. It's just, anyway. With all that being said, it's basically the bottom of the hour. So, guys, it is your time, chat. If you have questions, comments, conspiracy theories, complaints, if you have a really good blackberry pie recipe, I just pulled that randomly out of nowhere. By all means, put it in the chat. Or if you have some anecdotes about Scotland and you're a tailed feature, you should tell us that. Also, I talked to Tailed about this briefly on Twitter the other day. He's been posting a lot of clips from the quiz show QI, which is a British thing with Stephen Fry was the host until they switched over. Really great show, really funny show. They kept posting these things, and I told him he should have a quiz show about nothing but Scottish stuff. And he said, yeah, I can call it QI. Like, aha. And I'm almost half serious. He should start a stream with some of his Scottish friends or just people that aren't Scottish and just have them on and ask them like trivia questions about Scotland and just see what kind of funny answers they can give.
Do it.
Let's see. Check Your Logic says, I have a conspiracy theory. Roseanne is a racist. Yeah, you could be right. I don't know. I don't know her mind.
She might be.
Yeah, she might be.
But her comment about Valerie Jarrett doesn't prove she is.
And I'll tell you what, the thing that still boggles me is like ABC knew exactly who they were paying for when they hired her back in the 80s and now. So why they were suddenly shocked and like clutching their pearls over something she did that was controversial after everything else she's ever done in her career boggles me. But anyway, RJ Bansma says, Scribe, what should I do with this clone of Yoda monkey? Yoda monkey? I don't know. Is there a Yoda monkey? I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing the context here. If you have a clone of Yoda, you're on Camino.
Lord.
What? Hello?
Tampa, Russia operatives have penetrated some of Florida voter registration systems ahead of the 2018 midterms, U.S. Senator Bill Nelson said Wednesday.
Was he leaking information from an intelligence report, or is he just sort of shooting off from the hip?
They've already penetrated certain counties in the state, and they now have free reign to move about, Nelson told the Tampa Bay Times before a campaign event in Tampa.
What?
He said something a day earlier. Hang on. He said something he said something similar a day earlier in Tallahassee, but declined to elaborate.
Yeah.
Quote, that's classified.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Okay, if you know that they've been hacking the voting machines, but to say that they've penetrated the electorate or something, like, what the fuck does that mean? You got like agents standing around? I mean, are they intimidating people away from the polls? Are they stuffing the ballot box? Are they hacking the machines? I still have not had anybody show me that the actual election has been tampered with.
Ain't it funny how they always find something? It's like, we found this thing. And you're like, okay, what is it? And it's just like, well, we can't tell you. And it's like, well, why the fuck not? If you found something that's important or relevant, then why would you not want to share that? Especially if it's going to prove the point that you have been so fucking desperately trying to prove.
Well, not only that, but Ben Nelson, if he's being truthful, has just broken the law by releasing classified information to the public. I don't know what else to tell you.
It's classified.
It's classified. I can't tell you, but just trust me.
Can you just wait real quick? Can you imagine one of the one? It doesn't matter which one, but one of the people in the fucking Mystery Inc. Every time they found a clue, they're just like, "Yeah, I can't share that with you, but I did find a clue to help us out with this mystery. I just can't disclose that information."
Zio Gold asked me if I think I'm smarter than Movie Bob. I don't know much about the guy, but probably.
Jenna P says, Scribe Light, could you try a Scottish accent, please? Thank you. Oh, I don't know.
Do it.
It's one of those things where I can't just try that on command kind of thing. It's something I have to build up to. And it would ultimately sound like some bad Irish accent anyway.
Yeah.
Well, just do an Irish accent and talk about having sex with sheep.
Yep. That's all you gotta do.
Actually, the Scottish sound like really pissed off Irish. It's what it is. It's true. That's what they sound like.
It's one of those things. It's a mental block. Like if somebody says, "Do this accent right now," like.
No, I understand.
Yeah, so maybe sometime I'll try to work something in somewhere. Next time Tail's on as a guest, I'll try to talk to him in Scot, in a bad Scot. Let's see. Angela says, Scribe, alas, I don't have a blackberry pie recipe, though I do have a very simple but excellent shortbread recipe. Okay, well, tweet that. Take a little screenshot of a text file with the ingredients and stuff. Share some good recipes on Twitter, guys.
Devil Fruit Zero asks if we talked about the $42 trillion to start socialism in America. Briefly, we talked about that yesterday with Yosef.
Yeah, we talked. That was in I forget what story. I think it was the Daily Wire posted that and talked about the 42 or $44 trillion it would cost to just do the big things they're talking about, and how the bulk of it would be healthcare for everyone.
Yeah, I saw the guy who wrote the story, and I forget his name, tweeted out today that for all the people who say my article is wrong, we just have to take the military budget. Here's what it is. And far too many of you think that we spend a lot more on the military than we actually do. And he shows as a percentage of GDP, military is about 3%, and the percentage of the liberal budget that the GDP would be, I think it was 17. So almost 6 times as much.
Ebony Williams says, I will make you love me. What's your favorite dessert? The gobi.
I will make you love me. You know what? I like that in a woman. I will make you love me. Like, come try, sweetie.
Zio Gold says, Scribe, can you do a James Brown impression? I'm not drunk enough.
I love James Brown, man.
Did you see that interview with James Brown where he's totally fucking blitzed
No.
on live TV? It's hilarious.
James Brown was awesome.
Yeah.
What's mean?
Drunk, stoned, one of the two.
Oh yeah, Stargazer Nuts reminds, please hit the like button. There's 145 people watching from my count here, and only 77 likes.
I hit the
guys,
like button.
Hit that like button.
Game Dude says, Scribe. Game Dude says,
monkey.
Okay. Game Dude says, Scribe Light, you always give the advice to want a relationship but not need one. But what happens if I need one because of how badly I want one? It's driving me nuts. Now, what I mean by not needing a relationship is that absent having someone with you, you are otherwise self-sufficient in life, financially, emotionally, in the sense that you're not like freaking out and you need affirmation all the time kind of thing. That's what I mean by not needing a relationship.
Okay, I knew this was going to happen. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I was done, so go ahead.
Three-sided coin says, what are you talking about? Just last year, the Senate passed a $700 billion spending bill for the military, and they do it every freaking year. Do you know how big our budget is? Our budget, I believe we're over $4 trillion now. So you're not even talking about a quarter of the budget. And then when you're talking about spending $42 trillion, that $700 billion ain't gonna cover shit.
Let's
throw those
see.
numbers out there for you. Write those down and do the math. You'll see.
Devil Fruit Zero says, Scribe, does your sister have a sense of humor similar to your own? I think I remember you said she was a comedian. Yeah, my sister's done some amateur stand-up before. Yeah, we both kind of have a similar sensibility when it comes to humor. We got from our father, very dry, sarcastic, sometimes mean-spirited sounding, but also always in good fun kind of thing. Like I said, my dad used to recite to us, I'm suddenly forgetting his name because I don't know, because my brain's going sideways. Ford Fairlane. Fucking
Andrew Dice Clay.
Andrew Dice Clay. I used to recite Andrew Dice Clay jokes to us just because they were funny, you know. And plus a bunch of other things. He also had a whole bunch of interesting ways of tormenting my sister and I in a funny way, as dads do. And so, yeah. Let's see. Data Wasteland says the DoD can't find $2 trillion a year. They misplace ranting. They misplace. Yeah, I must have missed something. Why can't we use that budget to pay our debt? Says Jean-Pierre. I'm not an economist. I don't know how it works. I assume if we could, we would, but then there's that whole defense thing that we have to maintain.
You know, them Koreans are bothersome people.
Okay, so Monkey has put some information in the chat. Let's see. Haper75, what do you think of Norm Macdonald's stand-up? I haven't seen much of his stand-up. I've seen his interviews on like David Letterman and Conan O'Brien. If you want to see Norm Macdonald at his funniest in just interviews and stuff, look up Norm Macdonald, Conan O'Brien, and Chairman of the Board. If you look up that whole clip, it's hilarious. And then there's one, I think it was either Conan or Letterman, probably Conan, where he's talking about having met Larry Flint. Those two clips alone have me rolling every time I listen to them. So if you can find those clips, you can probably find them on YouTube. Definitely the Chairman of the Board one. They're awesome. But as far as like a stand-up, I haven't heard much of a stand-up to know. So
I've heard his stand-up. He's not a good stand-up comedian. He's a funny guy. I love listening to him in interviews.
Yeah, he's a great storyteller. He's a great storyteller. I don't know about his stand-up, though.
His stand-up sucks, or at least what I've heard of it.
Okay.
Your stand-up sucks.
Well, he's crippled, so.
Jasta Muriel says, anyone excited for Doom Eternal? Oh, only if... oh, wait, you're talking about the game and not the movie. Oh, I don't know, maybe.
What's that?
Doom? Well, Doom Eternal is going to be like, I think the sequel to the newer Doom game, if I'm remembering correctly.
I am a small, innocent child of the Lord. I do not know things.
You don't know what Doom is
No.
at all?
No.
It's the game that popularized first-person shooters back in the 90s. It was turned into a horrible movie, what, in 2000?
And they're making another one now-ish. Yeah, well, not even Doom music will save Weebo from this. And if you guys know what NEDM means, then you're old school. You're the man now, dog people. And if any of you understand what that meant on the stream, I'll be very impressed.
I don't.
NEDM.
CEO Gold asks, what are my thoughts on Red Fox? Red Fox was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
I loved him on Sanford and Son because he had great comedic timing and it showed through so well there. But if you listen to his stand-up, it was fucking awesome, and he's dirty as shit. And I first listened to him when I was like 14 or so, so it was one of those instances where we're all sitting around laughing at the guy saying motherfucker too much. But he's funny. I love Red Fox. His passing was a sad thing for me.
What did I just miss? Oh, I see Grizella's in the chat. Hello, Grizella. This is our resident comic book cover artist for the Lords of the Night. Our official comic book cover artist.
You have one of those?
Well, have you
seen him?
Yeah. I have it pinned on my Twitter. The very first thing. Go to my Twitter thing.
Too.
Yeah. And
go look at our Twitter feed.
Someday.
I don't look at your Twitter.
Someday we have to have Grizella do a cover where it's like the team up, where the three of us are facing off against like the Lizard and I don't know some of the other sort of like constant adversaries we have through doing this show. I don't even know who they would be. Not like real people because I don't have any animosity towards anybody in particular, but well, Chrysalis's editing skills, but it's different.
Scribe lied, you rapscallion.
Excuse me?
I'm looking at the comic.
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Maybe he can make a picture with all of us standing on the moon base.
Yeah, it's a moon base. Speaking of moon base, do you want to talk about that now, Satsu, or shall we keep that a vague secret?
Oh no, I did post it on Twitter. We got
okay.
some new moon base T-shirts. I was messing around with the design, and Scribe said he liked the one that I made. So I put it up on the merch store, the Streamlabs merch store. So you guys can check that out. They turned out pretty good. I like them. I think they're nice.
Now you can have a Moonbase T-shirt for Lords of the Night if you are so inclined.
Yeah, I'll post the link, or I'll post them back up on Twitter as soon as the stream's over, right before we get started on the stream tonight.
Let's see. Stacy Gardner says, "What is your favorite George Carlin bit?" Excuse me.
Holy shit!
I can't pick a favorite.
God,
I know who that is, by the way. I understood their reference.
There's so many. His routine about the details of baseball and football and the differences between the two.
That's a good one, yeah.
It's family friendly and everything else, and it's great.
I like the one where he's talking about all the things that we have in common, like when you're walking up the stairs and you think there's another one, or you're walking down the stairs and you think there's more and there's not.
Yeah.
But I really still love, and I think it is so timely at this point, his bit about changing language doesn't change what things are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look up Carlin differently abled. I think that'll probably get you the bit that Monkey's talking about. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like the one where he said people are constantly using words and terms that are saying way more than than you should be saying, or something like that. It was like, damn. He started off talking about like instructions that they give you on a plane or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, I love I know what you're talking about. Like when he's talking about Final Destination and the boarding thing is great.
Oh, yeah. I remember that reminds me of the one where he's talking about state mottos, and he says like Idaho, famous potatoes, and then he's like. And then you go to like I think it's New Hampshire, and I'm probably wrong because I don't know state mottos, but it's like live free or die.
Yes.
Did you guys? Ex-Papa says, did you guys talk about Dank's appeal getting rejected? No, we didn't. I saw that he tweeted that out.
Yeah,
his appeal to against his $800 fine and for offensive language and everything got rejected. So
That's unfortunate.
yeah, I don't know if there's a higher court he can then appeal to. If Tail's still in the chat, is there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
Jenna says, "Bad monkey, you can't say that. An SJW might hear you, and we will all get beat downs." Look, I'm a cripple, and I could beat up any SJW. I feel confident saying that because they're bitches.
I was asked a very important question, and I'd like to address it. Jean-Pierre Polnareff. I'm not French.
We just call him Jean-Pierre.
Okay. He asks, why are women better at making fake orgasms than real ones? And to that, I respond, I don't know. I've never had to fake an orgasm.
There you go.
Yep. I'm not the authority on that.
At making fake orgasms and making real ones.
How do you know that that's the case? I guess is my that's my first curiosity. It's like,
well,
I don't know.
I think when you're talking about just the sounds that they make, I know women who don't make a sound when they have an orgasm. Yeah,
they just tighten up and like freeze. I've been with women who like are really noisy, and I've been with women that just like it's almost like their entire body becomes paralyzed for a minute, and kind of rigid, and they just kind of shiver. It all depends. Everybody's
like an
different.
Exorcism?
Well, no, an exorcism would be
more like they've been electrocuted.
Yeah, something like that.
That's why I have to literally escape. Like the moment she's about to get there, I'm like, okay, got to get out of there because she's about to kill me.
So real quick, just when you're talking about faking, it's hard to do that kind of orgasm. So you're always going to have people being more vocal.
Yeah, it depends. You have to know your partner, and then sometimes it can be something that's quote unquote easily faked. Other times it's things that are just sort of like. They only happen with that. I was with one girl a long time ago, and when she would orgasm, let's just say her muscles would clamp down in a very uncomfortable way. And so I would have to escape or else be crushed in a very painful fashion. That was not fun. That was not a fun time in that.
She can skip the kegels.
Yeah, pretty much for the time being. Zio goes to Scribe, like, would you dress up like Baron Samedi? Well, if I wasn't going to be accused of cultural appropriation, and if the Loa weren't going to come and eat my soul for having offended them, yes. But otherwise, no. Let's see. Stunlock Joe says, did you guys like Christopher Titus's stand-up? What little I saw, it was all right. His show was pretty good, especially Stacy Keach. That guy stole the show.
I don't think I've ever seen any.
Yeah, Titus, he had a Fox show for a while, and Stacy Keach played his dad, and Stacy Keach was just fucking hilarious. Back when Fox would actually do a show that was controversial, and not really care about sort of like other people's feelings and things.
Hey, Last Man Standing is coming back.
Yeah. Sorry, Tim Allen kind of lost his star for me just a long time after he started doing like, Toy Story and stuff.
Movies. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Galaxy Quest was great, but all the other movies he did after that just like stunk. And I'm sure he's still fine. I'm sure he's still funny in places. He doesn't really do that much for me. Justin Muriel says, what sci-fi games are your go-to aside from KOTOR?
Mass Effect.
Monopoly.
I like StarCraft. Okay, the original StarCraft, not the newer one. Well, what's wrong with that?
If you haven't played the original Mass Effect trilogy, definitely play it. I still occasionally go back and play 2 and 3. I would play 1, but the engine they used for it is so bad.
Let's see. Other questions, guys?
That's wants to know if Satsu's getting married in the morning or the afternoon.
It's going to be in the afternoon, around 2:00. You guys will have the specifics tomorrow.
Oh, so you'll still be doing a show tomorrow night just after the wedding.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got that straight. So
yeah, it's gonna be earlier in the day. So after it's over, it's like my day's open pretty much. Outside of I'm gonna be spending most of the day. Never mind.
Yep.
I hope I can at least attend live through chat at that time of day, but we'll see. I'll do my best.
Lady Monkey's still mad at you that you didn't get married today when she had the day off.
Oof.
Look, man. I'm just following orders.
John says, I would get into Mass Effect, but the third game puts me off. The third game was excellent. What put you off about it? Sorry, go ahead.
So many people tell me it wasn't.
3 was great. 3 was great. 2 is still the best of the series, in my opinion, but 3 was excellent. I love 3.
Richard Art says, Weebo Jones, so how long do you want your schlong in the fan art?
As long as you can possibly make it. So long as
life size, 53 feet.
56.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, 59. 59.
59. Oh,
It just keeps going up.
You should have her like sitting Indian style on the coil, like with the fucking gangsta ass look on her face and an eye patch.
Oh, you can also have me wrapping it around my torso like it's like a
boa.
Yeah.
Jean Pierre says, Scribe, what is your favorite movie soundtrack? Well, I mean, as far as like an original soundtrack, I'd probably say The Red Violin. As far as like just a collection of songs that are put together, I have a real sentiment for the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack. Are they my favorite of all time? I don't know. I guess it depends. Those are the first two that come to mind, so those are probably the most prominent.
Dirty Dancing, hands down.
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna go nerdy, and I'm gonna say Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. Satsu, do you have a favorite movie soundtrack? Well, you don't watch movies. What am I asking you for?
Yeah, I'm watching that.
Some anime shit.
You know what's got a really good soundtrack?
What's that?
Sons of Anarchy. Any song that they've ever had.
Oh, yeah, they did lean on the biker stuff a lot, didn't they? Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Check your logic says, is the secret word goat thrapple? No, why would the secret word be goat thrapple? That's too easy.
A couple of people have mentioned that the end of Mass Effect 3 sucks, and it depends on which ending you get, but I don't judge
they fixed it.
Well, it depends. Some people still didn't like the ending.
Yeah.
But like the end of what are we playing now? Far Cry 5. The end of Far Cry 5, both endings are garbage, but the game is fucking awesome.
Yeah, all the endings are garbage. Like literally every ending that you could achieve in that game,
3,
they all suck. But the game's fun.
Let's see.
Favorite Bryan Adams song, Cuts Like a Knife. That's easy.
Well, actually, my favorite Bryan Adams song is "Do You Really Love a Woman?"
Oh, that's another good one.
The Don Juan DeMarco soundtrack.
That was such an underrated movie.
It really was.
That movie.
That movie's great. I mean,
we should do that. If I can find it, we'll do that.
You know what? You're right. That should be a movie you should have watched. If I can find a copy, yeah. One of the few late-stage Marlon Brando movies that he actually did a decent job in. That and The Graduate. If you never saw The Graduate, not The Graduate, The Freshman. The Freshman. Him and the Matthew Broderick. Which is also kind of a rarity in that it was a Matthew Broderick movie that isn't Ferris Bueller's Day Off that I actually really liked. Let's see. Yeah, Don Juan DeMarco is great.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Scribe lives off kittens.
What?
How did we get there?
I don't know, but Yoda says I live off of kittens. I don't know what that means. Like selling them or like using them as sled dogs or something?
I am offended.
Haper75 says, what are your thoughts on Boondock Saints? Boondock Saints is a cult classic. The story behind its making is even more interesting. If you can find the documentary called Overnight which documents everything leading up to the purchase of the script by Harvey Weinstein, back before all this stuff happened, and all the other stuff. Yeah, if you watch the documentary after watching Boondock Saints, it's like this double feature of what the fuck, and it's great. Boondock Saints 2, yeah, but what are you going to do?
Peter, I didn't ruin the ending of anything. I just told you I thought they sucked, and
How dare you?
Telling somebody that the ending was garbage isn't ruining it.
You might go through the end and love it.
That's actually saving you from some disappointment. I mean, it's
garbage. Don't even try to make it sound better.
I wasn't gonna make it sound better. I was just gonna. It was interesting, first of all, just because of the fact that it was just like one of those life lesson type endings where they're just
it was a fucking Far Cry ending, is what it was.
Yeah.
Like if you beat 3, you know that Far Cry goes, what the fuck just happened here?
Yeah,
and you'll have that when you beat 5.
Yeah, the last really good Far Cry was probably Blood Dragon, but as far as like the actual series, Far Cry 3, I didn't find Far Cry 4 all that much of an improvement over 3. I think 3 is still great.
Anyway. I didn't play 4. 3 is I love 3, but the ending sucked.
I don't know. I mean, the depending on which one you got, one was worse than the other, I suppose. But yeah, well, I mean, the quote unquote bad ending made absolutely no sense given everything you've done in the game to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you decided to sort of, in the space between things, sort of role play in your own mind some things that were going on. But yeah, the storyline didn't lend itself for the bad ending to make any sense. So, who was it? Telegon says, "Do you guys have a favorite audio drama?" I do. It's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society's audio drama of "At the Mountains of Madness." You can find it on their website. They did a version of that, or at least some members of it did a version of that at Dragon Con in like 2007 or something. It's actually really good too, but the one they have on their website is really good.
What'd you say, Weebo?
There's a Dragon Con?
There's an everything con.
Yeah, Dragon Con is just like a comic book nerd gaming convention. Yeah, I think it's down in Georgia or something, I think.
Yeah, it's down there. STA went with the
Poison the Well
guys last year, didn't you?
Oh, wait, I do remember hearing something about that.
Yeah.
That's not the dragon that I'm sending you for Christmas, though.
Right.
Oh, you are okay. So you are actually going to send me a dragon, like an actual dragon, or like a dildo dragon?
Do you know what a dragon is, dear?
No.
Yeah, Monkey
Moving
Con.
on.
Monkey Con, yeah. Check your lodge's Monkey Con. Yeah, Monkey Con's going to happen someday.
Yes.
No, now I'm curious.
And the attendance at Monkey Con will pretty much be like me, Satsu, and Monkey at his house.
Right.
Sweetie, go to Pornhub and type in dragon.
Uh-oh. Let's see. We got 2 minutes left, guys. So any other questions real quick? And shortly after this stream over on 2 Cents Plus, go join Monkey and Satsu for 7 Days to Die open server. First come, first serve.
Weebo, I actually had a money-making idea for you. You could make a ton of money doing this.
Prostitution?
No, kind of.
No. Kind of prostitution? Is that like being a little pregnant?
She said she's going to set up a P.O. box, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I mentioned to her, that's going to get you all kinds of dildos. And she said if she gets dildos, she's going to send them back. So here's what you do.
No, I'm going to sign them and then send them back. Wow. What
use them.
What kind of dildo is that?
Use them and then sell them back.
Yeah, use them and tell them, for $50, I will use this, not wash it, and send it back to you. You'll make a ton of money.
No.
Especially for Japanese men.
What the fuck is that?
What?
Oh, you looked it up on Pornhub? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Wait, is it the third one from the left?
All right, let's not get too explicit here. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. By the time I finish this. All right, hold on. No, we're done. We're done. I don't care. We're done. Guys, thank you so much. Everybody in chat, thank you for joining us tonight, as you always do. You guys are the best chat in the world. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things, even though our chat is one of the most best behaved, or the best behaved chat and audience in the internet. Everyone who donated, thank you so much for your generosity. It will all go towards Dr. Pepper and Goldfish. Let's see. Tomorrow night, we'll be on Satsu's channel for the after wedding show, so to speak. Thank you, P-Dog Night. Is there a Donkey Con? If there is, I hope it's about video games. Moving on from that. But also tomorrow afternoon, around 2-ish, hopefully, on Satsu's channel, there will be a wedding. Now, keep an eye on Twitter tomorrow. We will all keep you updated as things develop on that, and hopefully we'll be able to see the nuptials of our friend Satsu and the lovely Squishy.
Aww.
Matt says I just got you to restart everything.
Yeah, sorry, no. Oh, yeah. Matt started a Star Wars discussion show or something, which I am jonesing to someday be on, so I can rant about Star Wars because I know way too much about the EU. But that's a whole other conversation. In any case, guys, thank you again. Monkey and Satsu, thank you for joining me as always. Weebo, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. It's been a very long time since you've been on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Nice to hear from you again. And in absentia, thank you, Grand Monkey, for adding a little cute to the stream, as she always does. And otherwise, guys, your lives make us sad, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Later.
Matt, you can come watch us on 2 Cents Plus.
Yeah, that'll be starting brand new.
The secret word is testimony.